Alright, so today we're going to look at the average value of a function. So take a second and see if you can answer questions 1 through 6. So in the past we've looked at the number of rectangles that we can use underneath a curve to estimate the area. Today we're going to look at something different. And maybe is there one perfect rectangle that has the area, the same area of the curve, slightly different, just a little different. Okay. The graph of f of x is shown on the interval of 0 to 4. Explain why the area underneath the curve is more than 4, but less than 20. Where would 20 be? So 20 would be this, right? So 4 times 5 would give me an area of a 20. So definitely way too much, right? There's too much area on the sides of the curve. What about 4? If it was just a 4, so that would just be down here, right? So 4 is definitely too small. The 20 is too big. All right. Do you think the area underneath the curve is more than 8? Less than 16. So more than 8, so that would give me where to up here. So 2 times 4 is an 8, right? So this would be my 8. So why do you think that that's closer to the value? It's definitely more than 8, right? Because there's only a little bit. I mean, that all is in the curve, and the only thing that's on the outside is this little bitty peak. Okay? Or less than 16. So then what would that be? 4 times 4? So what? So I'm gonna... So all this is 16. So it's got to be less than that, right? Because it's only missing this little peak right here, that little area there. So yes, it's definitely got to be more than 8, and yes, it's got to be more than 16. It's got too much on the sides for the 16. Okay. At what heights do you think that we should try to draw the rectangle so that that area is exactly the same height as the area under the curve? What do you think? Maybe at 3? I don't know. Possibly. Who knows? How could we write this area? So the area of this would be your x value, so 4, so it's 4 units, right, times c would give you the area there. So how could I set up an integral there for this? So I would go from 0 to 4 of f of x dx. Alright, so if this is our function, so how can I find the value of that perfect height c? Okay, so if I integrate this from 0 to 4 of negative x squared plus 4x plus 1, that should be equal to 4c, right? All right, so if you integrate this, so with respect to x, so that'll be what? Negative x cubed over 3 plus 2x squared, right? Because the plus an x, and evaluate it from 0 to 4, and then that's going to be equal to 4c. Okay, so this will be what? Negative 4 cubed over 3 plus 2 times negative 4 squared. Oops, no negative, sorry. Plus a 4. is going to be equal to 4c. So what do we get? So that's what, 44 over 3. Divide both sides by 4. So c is going to be equal to an 11 over 3. Put that in your calculator. That's roughly 3.6. Repeating. Was that close? Not really. So 3.6, that's going to be where? Somewhere 3.1, maybe like right here. And that will give me the perfect area. So the average value there. So how do you think that this value of c compares to the value of the function f of x over the interval 0 to 4? It's the average. So it's the average what value? Okay, so the average value of a function f of x on a closed interval from a to b is the height of the perfect rectangle. So the area matches the area under the curve. Okay, so it's gonna be your width. So your width of the rectangle, and then times your c, which is your height. So that can be found. It's going to equal the exact area underneath the curve. So I can find that c value. So this is the average value of a function. So this is the height of that perfect square. So we could say what? 1 over that b minus a of the integral evaluated from b to a of f of x dx. Alright, so take a minute, see if you can answer these questions. Chipotle gives BOGO burritos on Teacher Appreciation Day. If you're willing to stand in line on this particular day, the number of people waiting in the line to order is modeled by WFT, where T is measured in hours since Chipotle opened at 11 a.m. Write an integral expression that would give the average number of people waiting in line at Chipotle from noon to 6 p.m. So what is my A value going to be? So from noon, because that's 1 hour after it opens, so A is going to be 1, and my B is going to be 7. So my average value is going to be 1 over 7 minus 1, which is 6, so 1/6. Integral from 1 to 7, and of the function WT dt. All right, I'm going to set up number 2 for you. So find the average value of the function. So find the average value of the function on the interval here. So this is my A, this is my B. So I'll say 1 over 3 minus 1, so that'll be a 1 over 2. And then the integral from 1 to 3 of e to the 3x minus 3 minus a 4x d of x. And then I can integrate it and simplify. So finish that one for me and finish number 3, and then upload your solutions in Canvas. Thank you. Have